Okay. PFL Belfast goes down April 16 at the SSE Arena. Happy to be joined by Ciaran Clarke, who is back on that card, taking on Dean Garnett in a very fun fight for Ireland. How you doing, man? Just over a week after a long time out.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited to be back, and yeah, this is the first one since the injury, so it's the longest time I've had since amateur and pro as well. So really looking forward to getting back in there. I feel like there's a new fire lit under me, and really looking forward to showing which I feel is a new fighter getting in there and a new Ciaran Clarke.
Yeah, like you say, you're not used to a layoff like this. It's 18 months in total once we get to the fight. So yeah, like you say, you must be pretty itching to get back in there.
Absolutely, man. No, big time. I really it was I think it was longer this time last year, but obviously with the injury and stuff, but. No, it's sorry when I got back into the gym and it didn't feel like I left at all then, which was great. But no, definitely, man, I'm really looking forward to getting back in, and yeah, I feel like a new man, and yeah, looking forward to it.
What was that recovery process like? Obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, you upped your MCL in camp about a year ago. Talk about what that process was like. Because physically taxing, but mentally taxing as well, right?
Yeah, look, I was 4 weeks out from the biggest opportunity of my career, and not many people were, you know, have been ever in that position, which was I was involved in the PFL World Tournament among the top eight guys in PFL, top eight bantamweights, and I was essentially 3 fights away from world title and 500,000 prize money, and yeah, it was tough because 4 weeks out feeling good and in training, wasn't at the races that day, um, and I just said just get myself through the session, and I was training with another teammate of mine, Nathan Kelly, and took him down, but he'd no control of his weight, and he just fell on my leg and fell awkwardly. Obviously, the knee's a hinge joint, and it just fell in the wrong way. He fell on top of it, and I just heard a pop and felt an electric shock up my leg. So I knew there was something up. Knew it wasn't right. Uh, I said, maybe I'll jump off the mat. I'll sit this out. And for the next week or so, I kind of was cycling and doing what I could, and it didn't feel right getting out of the van and stuff, and I could feel it. Like, went to the physio, referred me for the MRI. Um, I came back. Then I was in the gym at the time, just finished the session. He rang me and said, "Look, Kieran, it's bad news." I actually thought he was going to say, "You're being dramatic," and I was like, "What?" I couldn't believe it. And he said, "No, it's bad news. You're gonna need to repair this, and if you do it now, it'll be 6 to 9 months recovery. Or if you don't do it now, which I was planning to do the fight, I was gonna go in with the knee and do the fight because it's such a big opportunity." But he said, "Look, if you do that, it's a full reconstruction, so it's as good as your ACL gone, your cruciate." So I was like, "Look, just bite the bullet, get it done, get it out of the way," and that was that really. At the time, you know, as sickening as it was and tough to take as it was, but it's God's will, and I just had to surrender that. But it was more when it started going on. If you're talking about like how the head was and stuff, and the guy that replaced me got to the final, which the runner up gets 200 grand. And on top of all that, I was promised that I'd be in the next year's tournament. Then they're after getting rid of the tournament style. So yeah, that opportunity was gone, and it was a tough one to take. But again, like I said, it's God's will, and it wasn't for me. And yeah, it was hard because I had family going over to Florida for the first fight to watch, and yeah, just it was very very tough, and it was more as the weeks went on, and how severe the injury was. Like I was on crutches and stuff, and then back walking again, and I couldn't walk me dogs, I couldn't drive, I couldn't just these little luxuries you have in life that you take for granted, and even just training every day, twice a day, and it was just something that I took for granted, and I absolutely don't now, and I'm just delighted because there was a silver lining to it. After falling loving back, not that I didn't, but just really loving training and yeah, not taking it for granted. So looking to go back in there now, please God, a bit of momentum, and I've no easy task in Dean, and I'll be talking to what would you say the average person? Oh, would you want to warm up fight and kind of I suppose boxers and stuff old school they would have kind of been get warm up fights, but I turned 30 last year. I'm 31 nearly, and I'm 10-0, and I feel now this is like, this is me. I want to, like, I was essentially 3 fights away from a world title. I think a win over Dean, at least puts me back at least 3, 4 fights away from that. I'm in the rankings number 9. So yeah, look, exciting times ahead, but I'm fully aware of the challenge next week, which is Dean, and I'm looking forward to that. And he's kind of a bit of his own redemption story, I suppose, after the early stoppage, I suppose, and the runner-up of the 2 European finals. And he's on the back end of his career, I suppose, 38, and he's a lot of experience over me, but he's probably thinking it's his redemption story. So it's two lads that are going in there, and yeah, I think it's going to be a great fight, to be honest.
Yeah, and you obviously we talked about the camp before. How has camp been this time? And I guess more specifically, have you had to maybe tailor anything or tweak anything because of the knee injury in the past, or has it all been sort of business as usual?
Well, like I said, there was a silver lining to it all. I've worked so heavily on me striking this time because that was the first thing I could do with the injury. I could get back on my feet. I could box. So that was like, that has just been something I've been, took on me. It's like, I really feel so much sharper now. I feel like I do different fighter. I feel that's really improved, like, genuinely. So I'm looking forward to showing that. And I always felt the need of the opponent to show the striking. And I think Dean is that because he's so well rounded everywhere. And in other fights, I was so much more of a better grappler. And although I think Dean's a different style of fighter, but I think this time, yeah, I just needed the right dance partner. And I think that is it, that guy in Dean. And I'm really looking forward to showing that. And I've become more athletic. Um, you know, I've become stronger, and this is genuinely because, like I said, it's just what I was able to do first. Coming back from the injury, I was able to strength train gradually, and then, like, the last thing I was doing was able to grapple, which is what I've heavily relied on in the past. So I've really, you know, really sharpened up everywhere else from then, until I could grapple. So yeah, looking forward to showing that. I feel I feel like a new man. Not just not just skill wise, but here and up here as well. I feel, you know, I'm freed up more. A lot of kind of a bit of soul searching as well with the injury off, and like I said, it just frees me up now more to be myself. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, you've obviously talked about Dean a lot there. I'm sure he's a guy that you've watched fight a lot of times, rather than just a guy that's new to you when you're getting the fight. I mean, we all saw the Lewis McGuillan fight, right? But what are your thoughts on the step up he represents? Do you feel he represents a step up from the guys you've been fighting? I know you've fought a couple of guys in common with him as well.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, no, I think it's exactly what I wanted. It's exactly what I need. I think Dean's a good name. I think he's worthy of it. I think he's that good. That good. It's a good challenge. But yeah, I think this will show me level, And listen, the better man won the night because um, whether he wins or I do, because I'm the shape of my life. It's the best Ciaran Clarke's in there. So if he beats me, he's the better man, the better fighter. No excuses, and that's it. And of course, we have only one opportunity, which is on the night. And that's it. You're only as good as your last fight, and just the sport we're in, that sport in general. And I'm looking to go in and take the opportunity with both hands, and God willing, get the victory.
Of course, of course. You're a guy who was with Bellator for a long time. How did you find that transition period to PFL, or did it kind of just feel like the same for you?
Yeah, there was a bit of a transition phase. I mean, last 2 fights it was PFL took over Bellator, but still running the Bellator brand. So kind of got to meet some new people through the PFL and stuff. But this will be my first fight through PFL. So yeah, it will definitely be different, but it was definitely a good transition. There was a stage where there was a bit of a limbo. I was coming out of contract. Um, the company got dissolved. They took over it, and so yeah, there was a bit of an adjustment. But like I said, now with PFL, it's my first one, and yeah, looking forward to it.
You mentioned they're coming out of contract. Was there a chance that you could have gone elsewhere, or was going to be staying with PFL for you?
Yeah, there was a possibility at the time, so I didn't really know if they were going to take me on, or because I started my career with Bellator and I was 10-0, so I won every fight. My money had went up. I was into my tour contract, and you know, I was in good money and still am, mind you. But so I didn't know if they wanted to take me on, fulfill that, and there was a bit of kind of flirting with the idea that I was a free agent, and so there was that process. I didn't know, so yeah, and but I'm with PFL now. I know I'm still in contract, so and I'm happy where I'm at now, and yeah, like I said, just glad to be getting back in there.
Of course, and I mean it's a big card for Ireland as well. We've got obviously Dara in the main event, yourself on the card as well, so many others. But a lot has been made around this card of the start time. Obviously, we're looking at sort of the main card being at midnight, Thursday night. Specifically on the time, is there anything you had to do maybe differently to prepare for fighting later than you've been used to, or do you think that now you're on the prelim? Maybe it's not as big of an issue as say Darren, who he's going to be walking out at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an adjustment for Dara and stuff. You know, which he's adapted really well. You know, he's getting up later, he's sparring very late at night, and you know. But to be honest with you, at the end of the day, when it's go time, it's go time. You know, the nerves keep you kind of switched on, and it doesn't really matter too much. You know, I think it would probably be the earlier ones, like the 5 a.m.s and stuff. That might be a bit more jet lag-ish, and then as well with travel and stuff. But for me, again, I'm fighting at home, and I'm an hour up the road, and you know, it doesn't really matter. I fought at 12 o'clock at night. I fought the first fight of the night. I fought, you know, that was the beauty of me fighting an amateur. I fought in the mornings. I fought at 12. I fought, you know, I've made the Walker Pro me pro debut at 12:05 as the swing bout. Yeah, I just think I think the more about us fighters. If we're told to fight at a certain time, we can adapt to that and adjust to it. But I'm in the prelims. I think I'm sixth fight, so it'll probably be average time anyway. 9:30, you know, so it's not too bad. I'd love to be first fight of the night and just be able to enjoy the rest of the night and get it out of the way. But yeah, it's a much really for us fighters. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, obviously, like we touched on Dara there and a few of those guys. The big for Irish MMA. It's been a little while since we've had them. Obviously, Bellator had a lot of big shows in Dublin, but obviously in Belfast for this one. Give us. Obviously, I'm from England, so I'm not over there. What is the state of Irish MMA at the moment? Because obviously, there's guys like obviously Paul Hughes who are supposed to be in this main event. We've got in the UFC. We've got Ian Gary. Maybe Conor McGregor's going to come back. There's all those rumors. Who knows? But obviously, and I think of you and Dara. You guys have been really built up from the ground up in Bellator. Key fight on the show. What is the state of Irish MMA at the minute?
Well, I'll be honest with you. It's actually, you know, probably worthy of the Belfast card because all of the Irish MMA at the minute, like it's so busy up the north. You know, there's so much happening up there. Shows most weekends because they're in a different because they're up the north and it's not in the south. There's a little bit more, definitely probably a little bit more of a hurdle with the safety requirements in the south. But the southern guys and the northern guys, they're all fighting up the north ends, and the level is just jumping so high now, to be honest. And between SPG down the south and all the other gyms, the Team Rhinos, and all even the smaller gyms now are all competing with, you know, they're all affiliates of the bigger gyms, and everybody's competing against each other, and it's just rising and rising. You can see that then at the IMAPs how well we're all doing. But yeah, certainly up the north, it's really, you know, most weekends there's a show on every couple of months. It kind of reminds me when I started as an amateur. Like it's come back to that now. There's more activity now for fighters, more opportunities. So it's brilliant, and I think it's good for Paul Hughes, mind you, because I do think he's leading the charge for us Irish guys. Um, you know, he's the main guy. He's elite level in Ireland, and he's amongst the world's best. And I'm good for him, his injury, and wish him all the best because that was me last year, of course, with the opportunity. But he'll be back. He's went through this before. But as far as myself, Dara, Owen, the undefeated guys, Shane Mullen as well, and and Pedro now coming from the gym and stuff over to for the late replacement. And yeah, it's great, man. It's hopefully then we can make maybe a, it'll be a yearly thing then, or I'm not sure how they want to take that. And I'm sure some of the FAI guys from Belfast are going to have opportunities as well. So I think it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And again, if Conor comes back, sure the whole world is going to be watching that, and it'll be great. And then obviously how well Ian's doing and stuff. I think Ian's a bit different because he, he's not essentially fighting out of Ireland, but he represents them, of course. But I think Conor and Paul, like, actually homegrown and staying in Ireland to train, and you can see by the support they get as well. So Irish MMA is definitely on the back, is on the up again, thank God, and thanks to PFL with the opportunities and stuff as well. And
Obviously, as someone inside SPG, you might be privy to information that you don't want to say. But in terms of obviously, there's all these rumors about Conor July. Where's your head at on that?
I'm not sure, but one thing I can tell you is that Conor, in all the years that I'm there, I'm 10 plus years in SPG. I can see, a difference in Conor, and he's motivated to get back. I've done enough training with Conor to be able to tell you, like, skill wise and like mental. I've trained with like so many guys over the years, and it's funny because one thing I wouldn't say about Conor, like, that the body definitely does for us all. The body can go down as you age and stuff, and you're not as physically athletic or whatever. But one thing I can tell you for sure with Conor, his mind is still sharp. He still has the eye for the game, um, which I feel when that's still there. Look, again, that's up for debate. If the mind and body aren't connected, but um, you know, he's so sharp still. His eyes for it, and yeah, like, I mean, if he comes in the shape of his life, up a weight class now, of course he's just bigger and more mature. He's into the later 30s now, but I can just tell you his eyes for his that's all still there, So I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to come back, because if he was a guy that was out of shape, or he's not the man he was, and but yeah, no, his eyes for still there. He's still sharp, still able to do the rounds with all of us, and yeah, like, he's and for him to be on the mat every day, and to bounce off some of us, and to be training alongside him. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, of course, and like you say, with him at the top, you've always had guys coming through SVG as well. The era of you, say, you and Dara making your debuts, to then even now, obviously the young guys as well. Kieran, I want to thank you for taking the time today. Just over a week out from the fight, PFL Belfast, April 16 at the SSE Arena. Still tickets available. Kieran, just one final question. Look straight in that camera. Give us the hard sell. When yourself, Dean Garnett, step into the cage, what can the people expect?
What can they expect? Non-stop action from bell to bell.
I mean, that sounds good to me. That sounds good
That,
to me.
trust me, that's it.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, knowing the way you guys fight, I wouldn't expect anything different. Thanks for taking the time today, Kieran. Best of luck.
Thanks a million. Appreciate it.
Thank you.